Are you a subtle shrinker? I bet you are. I have not met one person in my life or in my coaching practice that doesn't have some element of this subtle, nuanced shrinking. And today I'm going to share just a little bit about what that looks like, what that can look like for you, so you can identify if this is you. I will share that though the shrinking may be subtle, the impacts are actually profound. So I'm going to share a little bit about that. And we're going to finish with a very quick visualization to help you tune in to how much you dim your light, and I'm going to help you turn up your dimmer switch. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is like I know I'm always saying these things are my favorite, but it is what I'm here to do on this planet, is to help people shine. So I look forward to seeing you just on the other side of this. So I like to keep the overview of this relatively short so you can have, as always, an experiential shift. And because I think that's ultimately what lasts and is transformational and allows you to embody what's next level for you. So I will just sort of touch on what subtle shrinking might look like for you. So again, it may not be an overt sort of like I'm shrinking and I'm shy and I'm not putting myself out there. For most people, especially at the high level that I work with people, they're not at that level, but it's more of a subtleness in terms of how big they let themselves be, how bright they let themselves shine, how much they will allow themselves to be in the spotlight versus sort of stepping off to the side. And really how much they will turn up their dimmer switch, or how much you will turn up your dimmer switch. And so the subtlety looks like just this. I'm going to speak to first of all, the outside actions of what it looks like. And then I'm going to speak just to a little bit to the energetics and what that looks like in your body and your nervous system. And then, as I said, we will dive into that visualization together, that experience together. So a subtle shrinking could look like, oh, that's okay. I don't need to be in the spotlight, but I'm glad you are. So an example for me is, because I'm a coach and I work with high impact, high level people who are really creating a ripple. I am actually the person who is the influencer of those people creating the ripple, which I adore, but very easy for me to hide behind that and say, I don't need to shine because I'm here to help them shine, which is ultimately my greater purpose. But I've had to work on elevating my own ability to step into the spotlight, stand in my own brightness, even though my mission is to support them to do this. It's a subtlety where I can easily sort of justify why I don't need to stand out, sparkle, shine, be in the spotlight, be really big, right? I can easily justify that. So it becomes this subtle thing, which again is we'll talk about the impacts of this in a little bit. For other people, it will just look like, well, for some people, it's going to look like procrastination. And so that I've done so many videos around self-sabotage and upper limits. So very often that's the case, right? When people are kind of getting to their next level, all of a sudden they can't quite do the thing that kind of gets them to the next level or puts themselves out in a bigger way. And so much of that really comes back to not feeling safe to be fully seen, fully bright, and fully shiny, right? Because we were sort of trained to not be that. And again, it's not necessarily about being like, look at me, I'm awesome, I'm amazing, right? It's not about being egotistical and self uh, I'm not sure, congratulatory, but it's also not about being self-effacing, right? And so that's something I've experienced in my journey. There are times in my life where I've really stood out, and that has felt uncomfortable because of often outside reflections of what that is like. And so it's been very easy for me to just be like, oh, I don't want that. I'll just shrink a little bit, and then I won't be so noticeable, right? I won't stand out so much, won't receive any criticism or rejection, right? So I'm just going to give you a highlight. Again, this is sort of my experience and the clients that I see. I work with amazing uh, men and women. I want to say, I was going to say women, but I have some amazing men that I work with as well. And all of them, and so it's not even male or female, right? They all have some version of like, it's kind of hard to fully step into their full power and show up and shine in a really, really big way. And so a lot of times there's fear around that, as I said, rejection or criticism or judgment. Or failure, right? That idea of I'm going to really put myself out there, I'm going to really shine, and then it's going to be so visible when I don't succeed, right? And so there are so many reasons or ways in which we are, I'm going to say reasons, I guess, that we choose to dim ourselves a little bit. And so, really, just want you to take a moment to tune into any sort of nuanced way that you might have of not allowing yourself to fully shine or to fully stand out, and or to subtly shrink yourself, right? And it might be in a personal, I'm kind of more speaking in a professional way because that's the bulk of the work that I do. But for you, it might be more personal, right? So when you're in a room of people, do you kind of stand off to the side? This isn't about being introvert, extrovert, anything like that. It's just about allowing yourself to be fully seen. You can be seen and bright without saying a word, right? It's really just about allowing that sort of presence to be very expanded. And so my invitation right now is just to notice the subtle ways in which you shrink if you do. And when I take you through this visualization, that's going to highlight the truth. Because if you, again, as I said, I've worked with all different levels of people in all different industries, all different levels of sort of confidence. So for me, my shrinking doesn't really have anything to do with self-confidence. Someone might say that it does. And I guess on some level it might, but overall I feel very self-assured, self-confident, confident. But on some level, there's just these little nuances which I've worked through around not wanting to take up too much space, or again, as I said, it's important for me to allow other people to shine, so I don't need to shine, right? So all of these are sort of justifications, and for me it looks very much like a shrinking in my physical presence and energy and body, which I will talk about a little bit later. So just tune into it for yourself and just have this awareness of like, am I subtly shrinking myself? And again, it's nuanced, and that's the challenge with this stuff. And that's why sometimes people want to be working with a coach, because sometimes it's hard to spot it for yourself, the ways in which you sort of dim your light. And maybe, where am I doing this? In what area of my life, or in what situations of my life am I doing this? And is there a desire, or do I think this is impacting me? And is there a desire to shift it? So just a little self-reflection in this moment around this ability to stand out and be seen and shine, or are you just this subtly shrinking, right? Again, it's not like totally shrinking, right? That's not going to resonate with most people, but there could be just these subtle things. So as always, self-reflection, self-honesty, self-awareness, self-responsibility is the first step around all of this. Next, I wanted to share a little bit about the impact of this. So though this can be very subtle in the way in which you do it, again, you still may be taking action, you still be making big asks, you still may be speaking on stage, leading big groups, whatever it is that you're doing, being really, doing big things in the world. For some people, doing really, really big things in the world. Uh, and I mean, I guess I should even preface it that way. We're all doing really great big things in the world, right? But just depending on where you are and what you're doing. And but there is always a little bit of when we do it with a little bit of dimming, right? So if we are doing all these things in a really good way, but there's a subtle like layer of dimming around us or shrinking around us, there's going to be a massive impact. And so I just really want to talk about what that impact can look like, because it's so felt. People feel, I'm an energy, I'm going to say expert, but also because I'm so passionate about it. And so energy really is so profound, right? It's not the words and the way we show up, all of that is going to come from our energy and the presence in which we carry that sense of power that we have within ourselves. And when that's just subtly dimmed or shrunken, you are going to see that reflected in the external, and it's going to look like less opportunities that are being presented to you, right? Maybe you're wanting to be someone who is on a stage and speaking or leading something. You're going to notice it showing up in the number of people that come into your business, right? If you have a business, you'll notice it in your I'm going to say the level of respect maybe you receive as a leader in whatever industry that you're in. And so it's just this, again, it's not that you're not going to be seen as a leader and you're already probably a leader. Most of the people that I work with are leaders, but the perception is going to be felt if there's just this sort of subtle dimming that is happening when you do this. And so this subtle dimming can do, yeah, really can be to do with your, there's so many reasons it can show up. And so, I mean, I'm kind of highlighting what I see a lot. But for some people, it could just be a subtle dimming around. They don't feel like they're quite an expert. There's lots of language we could use, like, which I can never think of, imposter sort of syndrome that people have around. They're in a big position maybe, but they don't feel um, they're fully ready for that, or competent to be doing that. And so again, this is a really good example that I see where people just sort of subtly shrink themselves because there's this uncertainty within themselves, and I will guarantee that's being reflected back to you in some way, in terms of your promotions, in terms of how people show up for you or see you, all of those things. So yeah, so it can show up in obviously your income. It will show up absolutely in your impact. You may already be creating a big impact and a big ripple, but that subtle dimming and shrinking will for sure limit that expansion that you could be having in terms of your mission, your purpose, and what you're here to do on the planet. So I just wanted to just give you an overview of this. And really, the reason I don't want to spend too much time on this, wanted to give you a few examples, is consciously you may be like, totally not me, or some people may be like, this is totally me. I mean, I've done a whole series or a couple of videos around standing out. I forget what it's called. I'm awesome visualization. And I have a series called Let Yourself Shine, which is really, I'm going to say it's almost like a course. It's a free gift, but it's a really good, um, let's say, subconscious projection of what's actually happening within you. And it will let you sort of know where your energy is. And there's a whole series of things that will help you to actually clear that subconscious and rewire your nervous system. So today I'm going to be doing a very light version of that, but really around actually turning up the volume or turning up your dimmer switch. So if you haven't checked out those things, I would recommend them. Again, if you're open to this, you will find something, right? If you're not open to it, you won't. But as I said, I have worked with all levels of people. It doesn't really matter, right? It's like there's always some little nuance that we can shift or to have an awareness. And these visualizations are profound in that way. So today is going to be a little different, but so take a look for those. So the I'm Awesome visualization is in the guided energy techniques in this playlist below, and then the Let Yourself Shine series. That is something you do need to sign up for, and that is available in the banner at the top, I believe, and it's also in the links below. So just take a look for those. But for now, if you have the time and the space, let's just spend about 10 minutes together, 7 to 10 minutes together, for you to tune everything out, to tune into yourself, to really connect with your desire for expansion, your desire to turn up your light, to turn up your dimmer switch, or to diminish the amount that you are shrinking. Again, whether that's your personal or professional life, it doesn't matter here, right? So I'm just going to take you through a really deep, profound, guided visualization for you to witness this within yourself. Okay, so when you're able to close your eyes, I'd highly recommend that you do that so that you can drop out of your head and really drop into your body. Again, this is not a head thing, and none of this stuff is head stuff. So if you can, just make sure your limbs are uncrossed, your feet are on the ground, you feel supported in the chair that you're in, you have your phone turned off just for these few minutes, no dings, pulling you back outside of yourself, because we really want to go within. And so as I say to people all the time, it's not about quantity. We don't have to spend hours doing this, but it's about focus, right? And really the potency of doing this in this short time, but it is your commitment to be fully into this within yourself. And so I really hope that you'll give that to yourself right now. So eyes closed, chin nod if you like, maybe hands on your heart if you like, one hand on your solar plexus, one hand on your heart, whatever feels good for you. Take a couple of breaths, just allow yourself to be fully here right now, present in this moment. Anything that feels like it's in your mind, just sort of, you can put a pin in it, like you can tether it so that it's there still, but it's not in your conscious awareness in this moment, because it doesn't need to be. And I want you just to see yourself right now, tune into your own energy. So this is before we do anything else. just sort of tune into how, I might say, radiant you feel, how shiny you feel. And again, just I'm going to give you on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I feel really shiny, my light dimmer switch is turned up all the way, and 0 is like I haven't even started it yet. And so just tune in quickly. You're going to get an answer. Don't second guess it. Whatever answer you get is right. Without judgment, just be aware of it and just hold the intention now that you are going to shift. You are going to turn up the dimmer switch in this 7 to 10 minutes that we have together. And so just want you to see yourself now in a situation in which you would like to feel or feel brighter and shinier. So I'm going to allow you just to call that into your experience. Maybe you see yourself in front of a large group of people up on stage. Maybe you see yourself in the boardroom. Maybe you see yourself speaking on a stage, being featured. Maybe you are in a room of potential clients or referral partners or people that you want to invite into your business in some way. Maybe this is personal and you are seeing yourself in a relationship, one specific relationship, or perhaps a broader sort of relationship dynamic and placement, maybe where you sort of see yourself in your family dynamics, whatever it is for you. Just allow yourself to call that in. And now that I've had you call that thing that you want to expand more fully into, I want you to notice, tune into yourself and just notice if your dimmer switch has decreased. Again, without judgment. Maybe it's increased or maybe it's the same. So just tune into it. How bright, how full on does this dimmer switch feel for you right now in this moment, 0 to 10? Just notice if it's the same as it was, if it's dropped or if it's increased. And that's what happens when we are often in situations where we do shrink ourselves, right? And so we actually just want you to feel how your body has this sort of known pattern, right? So as you kind of, even nothing is happening, there's actually nothing going on around you, but as soon as you put yourself in this situation, there is a sort of a pattern that your body may hold, your energy may hold. And just notice for you if there's a little bit of shrinking in that. Then I want you to amplify it a little bit more. So make it a little bit more intense. And so again, maybe there's more people in the room. Maybe there's people who aren't paying attention to you. Maybe there's people who are saying things to you that don't feel great, or, I mean, it could be as overt as like someone saying, "Who do you think you are?" Right? It's probably not going to be that extreme, but it could be. So I want you to bring in some level of intensity around you standing in your brightness, and that not being okay with some people or just intensifying the situation. Okay, so again, just notice if that is dimming you a little bit or shrinking you a little bit without judgment. So I just want you to tune now into your heart and your solar plexus, that whole sort of torso area. This is really where we can start to expand our energy. So I just want you to feel your light getting a little bit brighter. And so I'm going to use the idea of a spark or a flame, or you can actually imagine, I'm doing like an old fashioned turning knob, but even if you think about how you would raise a light switch on the wall, right? You would go from the top to the bottom. And so I just want you to see yourself, and you might even physically do that with your hands. So you might reach out and sort of imagine turning that dimmer switch up within you. And so just noticing how that feels, again, going to be more in your heart and solar plexus area. So as you turn that dimmer switch up, allowing you to get a little bit brighter. And so whether that's just you feeling bright or whether it looks like a spark or it looks like a flame, it doesn't really matter. Just giving you some imagery. So just continue to turn up that light and just noticing what happens as you do that with the people that are, or the situation that's around you. And but I'm going to encourage you to push through that. If there's a desire to sort of turn the switch back down a little bit, it's good information. But let's see if we can continue to turn it up. And so I just want you to see yourself getting brighter and bigger, perhaps. And again, I'm just going to make this a little bit more in your face. So as you get bigger and brighter in this situation, just bring in one more I have been swearing a little bit, one more jackass or one more joker into your experience who is not responding well to your brightness. So really let yourself feel that person, see that person. Maybe it's a group of people, whatever it is. This could be coming up for you from past experiences, from present, or even future things that you're nervous about. So just whatever comes through for you, let that come through. Again, just notice if that brightness within you starts to shrink a little bit. Again, this is going to be felt in your body. Do you feel like you're shrinking your actual physical body? Do you feel like your energy doesn't feel quite as powerful? Um, or maybe it feels more powerful, which is obviously the direction we're going. But I just want you to tune into it because it's this embodiment thing that is really going to give you the clearest answers. It is giving you the reflection of what's happening subconsciously with you and what you're actually holding in terms of your brightness. So let's just play for another moment here. So continue to turn your light up now in this situation with this person or people that is causing some conflict within you that might make you want to shrink and feel like, I don't want to do this. I'm getting criticized here. I feel safer to not do this. So again, this is not happening for real, right? So you're safe to do this in this moment. So let yourself expand into it. Let the light dimmer switch go brighter and brighter. And as you do that, I just want you to notice what's happening around you with these people, with the situation. And perhaps it's even getting bigger and more expansive, a bigger room, higher level people, whatever it is you're visualizing. And just sort of noticing what's happening as you are getting brighter and brighter in this experience right now. And then one last little kick this up. Let's actually bring in the thing that you are really, really wanting, that you almost haven't quite let yourself claim that you really want. So whether that is leadership status, whether it is a certain income level, recognition, magazine cover, article written about you, maybe not external like that, maybe more like a team of people who just think you're the best leader on the planet, whatever it is for you, that thing that you really want, the clients that you really want to be serving, just see them in this experience, the relationships, if that's the direction you're going, feeling that desired outcome being there. Again, just do a quick check in on your dimmer switch, on your energy. Is it staying? Are you able to hold it? Or is it shrinking? Or is it still on the way up to expansion? And then just for a couple minutes now, let's expand it even further. And I'm saying a couple minutes because I want you to be able to hold this. It's one thing to turn up the dimmer switch. It's another thing to be able to hold it for a few minutes. Well, for longer than that, but in the case of this video, I want you to be able to hold it for a few minutes. So just for these last couple of minutes, let yourself turn this switch up again, using your hand if you want, just feeling yourself. You may even be drawn to bring your arms out or up to the ceiling, right? Just to kind of take up more space and just notice if that actually feels better for you to do. Maybe you've never done that before, but I would recommend it. So really just allowing your energy field to be bigger and brighter. And just again, for these last couple of minutes, can you allow this energy, this lightness, this brightness to radiate around you like in a 3D? A lot of times we are good at sort of projecting it forward, but I want you to think about it at the sides, behind you. It's as though you are in literally a cylinder, a sphere, and you are radiating this lightness, this brightness all around you. So you are doing this within yourself, and that situation or experience is around you. It's still there, and you are continuing to expand. And I will encourage you for the last, let's say 90 seconds now, how big can you make this? How bright can you make this? And maybe you even notice that as you are doing this, the situation itself is shifting, the people are shifting. You may see them actually sparking up and getting brighter as you get brighter. Just give yourself this last little moment to do this big expansion. Hold it and just get your body used to holding the bigness, the brightness, the fullness of the dimmer switch, the volume turned all the way up. And then just take a couple of breaths to ground this into your physical body. So just breathing in and exhaling, and just let your cells and your nervous system absorb this. Again, breathing in and out. And one more time. And then as you are ready, just feel yourself grounded back in the chair that you're in, being present to the room that you're currently in. When you're ready to open your eyes, do so and see if you can feel this brightness, this expansion. You can stay here longer. I'm obviously going to wrap this up, but you can do this often. You can do this every day. But for now, I'm going to complete this. So come back into the room. Allow yourself to have eyes open, to feel the brightness, and to be able to hold this energy of brightness. You may even, I've said this in other videos, you may, if you're able to see yourself, you may even see a difference in you, a spark behind you. And and maybe now, even with your eyes open, bring in that situation right now. Sometimes very easy for us to feel this amazing when we're sort of eyes closed and it feels so insular. And now, just even though it's not really happening right now, I invite you to bring it in around you, almost like a 360 around you as well. And are you able to hold that brightness within you? And as always, yeah, hold this for a little bit. If you can hang out for a minute, just even right now, just playing with this, expanding this. I've given so many videos and tools around all of this. If you've never done the, I mentioned the two earlier, but if you've never done the personal power meditation, great one. There's so many that I kind of do this similar kind of work. So there's lots of resources. You can come back and do this one again. And I would really recommend that you do continue to do this, yes, as a daily practice, but the bigger invitation is, can you sort of tap into this turning up, even if you just have that image of turning up that dimmer switch or whatever version you would do that with, when you're actually in the situation. So when those people are actually in front of you, when you are up on the stage, when you are leading a meeting, whatever it is, can you and will you allow yourself, first of all, to notice if you're shrinking a little bit, dimming yourself slightly, and are you willing to turn up that volume? Again, you can do it energetically. This is why I teach this stuff. This will translate externally, I guarantee you, but you don't have to think about it. You don't have to try and be brighter and try to be more special and shiny, right? You just have to do it from this energetic, embodied nervous system place that feels really good within you, and then continue on with whatever it is that you're doing. And then the big next level thing is keep that despite what the reactions are around you, right? That's always the biggest challenge, right? We can do this ourselves, feel amazing. We could start out the meeting or the presentation feeling amazing, and then the person is like looking at their phone and the other person's talking while you're talking, people are yawning, people don't agree with you, whatever it is. You have hecklers from your stage top. And so can you keep this brightness amplified as any and all external things start to show up in your experience? Because if you can do this, you are going to really embody a new level of brightness, of shininess, of standing out. And again, embodiment is everything, right? This is not mental. This is actually within your body and your nervous system and your cells and all of those things and your field around you. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I have given you some other resources to take a look for, and I will put those in the next up videos as well for you to take a look. But you are here to be expansive. You are here to elevate yourself. You are here to shine, to be big in whatever way that is for you, right? I'm using some examples of stage and things like that. That's not for everybody, but you are here to really be the light. You really are, in whatever industry or whatever way you want to do that. And so I hope that you will be able to have the subtle tweak in this, because that subtle tweak again is going to come back to those A, you're going to feel amazing, and then B, you're going to have those external things start to flow that you're wanting, right? The more impact, the more opportunities, the more income, the more respect, the more acknowledgement, all those other things that you're trying to get are going to come to you much more easily. So I have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will see you in 2 weeks for the next video. Take care.